Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Realistic Gaming. I'm good so far. Anyway, today we're going to talk about some tips and tricks for beginners in the long dark that may help them out in the long run. Or if you're a returning player and you're coming back to deal with the hype of the announcement of the expansion pass, well then, welcome to the channel. Anyway, starting off this video with one of the first tips I can give you folks is learn the regions you're in, geography of the map. And there's maps online you can find, you can download to your phone or your computer. And you can just look at the map and read them. But the best thing to do is, if you're a fresh player, a new player, is to just explore the map you're in, alright? And now, there are several regions that are easy for beginner players, you know. And off the top of my head, I mean, the easiest region by far, I'm going to be honest, is Desolation Point. Second is Mystery Lake, and third is Broken Railroad. And for those who are wondering, the fourth one is Mountain Town, because there's a fuck ton of loot there. Now, the key thing about learning the geography of this game is that once you learn like where all the loot, the buildings are, and where the animal spawns are, and where you can find quality loot, keep in mind loot is random generated in each new save you do in survival mode, so keep that in mind. But just know, by learning the regions, you help yourself in the long run, and also help you get out of shitty situations. Say you come across a bear, and you're a fresh player, but you realize, hey, I sort of know this map. I know how to get away from this bear and get to safety. And you do that. That's what learning geography will do for you. Now, going back to the maps I was talking about, there are several maps you can download for each of the regions on Google. You can look them up, and there's some on the wiki for this game. So if you're looking, you just want to do the maps and figure it out that way, you can do that too, which is also useful. Some people consider it cheating, but if you're a new player, you just want to have some fun with the game and learn the maps that way, then do it. I was going to judge you. Well, maybe assholes, but I'm not going to judge you because I'm not an asshole. Anyway, the next tip I give new players is have restock points in each region. Those may be wondering, what's a restock position? Well, restock is pretty much whenever I play the game, I'll make little, if it's like a massive region, this is where like it comes into play. Say you're in like Pleasant Valley or Ash Canyon or Timberwolf Mountain or something, or Bleak Inlet, or even Mystery Lake, or Coastal Highway. Alright? The key thing to this game is, you'll have a main base in each region. And for example, most people, say Pleasant Valley, use the farmhouse as a base. And the reason they use the farmhouse is because it has a lot of storage opportunities, and it has a workbench, and also has a wraparound porch pretty much that can let you stand outside, and it'll protect you from the cold and blizzards of Unpleasant Valley and all that. And we'll let you know if there's any predators around, like the bear that tends to walk around there. And in a place like Pleasant Valley, the key thing is have several like loot stashes in like small out of the way places. For example, if I'm headed in a blizzard in Pleasant Valley and I get caught in a blizzard just kicked up out of nowhere, I've had it happen, and other players have had it happen too. The key thing is, say I'm over by the crashed plane in Pleasant Valley. I know there's a cave up there, and there's also a Skeeter's Ridge. I'll climb up Skeeter's Ridge, hide out in the basement, and I'll have a couple stacks of food, probably some deer meat or wolf meat if my cooking's level 5, or even bear meat, and I'll leave a couple stacks of meat and about 0.50 liters of water, or 0.50 gallon of water there, along with, if in case my clothing is damaged, I'll leave 4 pieces of cloth, a sewing kit, and a single box of matches, be it cardboard or wood matches. And I'll do that to other places in the game. For example, if I'm over at Thompson's Crossing, which is a little town site in Pleasant Valley, I'll leave supplies in the community hall. Alright? And say I'm in something like Timberwolf Mountain. I'll leave a supply stash. I'll have my main base at the hut, and then I'll have a supply stash going to Cave B, going out that way. I'll have a stash in the plane if I'm ever out that way, in case just I need to stop up there. Main thing to do in Timberwolf Mountain is just loot the place, so there's that. And other place I'll have a loot stash is that cave that goes down into the little valley that connects to Ash Canyon. Or people that have played before will know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Now, for regions like, say, Hush River Valley, personally, I never go to Hush River Valley, so I don't really do stashes there. So I have no reason, because I have no reason to go there. There's really nothing to do in Hush River Valley unless you just want to be a mountaineer and live off the land and be like Jeremiah Johnson and shit. Alright. But that's the key thing. If you have loot stashes or stock points, restock points in each region, and a main base in each region, it works out in the long run for you because you don't have to lug a bunch of shit around and be overburdened, you know? Like, for example, like what I do for each region, here's the checkoff list I'll give you folks, alright? The best thing to do is have a main base, and what you'll do, you leave, if you can find a rifle in that region, leave it at the main base, because you know that's going to be your main base, and wherever that main base is, leave a rifle there, I'm going to say leave 5 rounds in the rifle, and then leave 5 rounds of ammo on the box next to the rifle. Leave some medical supplies, maybe leave 3 bandages there, a ball of antiseptic, a ball of painkillers, and a ball of antibiotics, and a box of matches, and leave a way for you to boil water. That is the key thing. Along with food. Now, the best way to have a high quality food is to hunt. Alright? And the best thing to hunt is deer, or find deer carcasses. Leave meat outside in the snow. The animals don't eat the meat if it's cooked, so that's a bonus. Other thing is, it's pretty much, the meat doesn't really degrades less in the snow. Alright? So you're best off leaving the meat outside in the snow and the animals won't get it, and leave a stockpile of water. Along with, aside from what I just listed with the medical supplies, a weapon, all that, leave stuff to mend clothing with, or leave a stash of clothing there, you know, wear like a decent coat, like a Mackinac jacket or something, you know, like leave a Mackinac coat there, alright, leave a pair of warm pants and a decent pair of like trail boots or something, and a pair of wool socks, and a pair of underwear if you can find it, and a pair of decent pants, like a pair of cargo pants or something. Leave an alternate pile of clothes there in case your clothes are ruined or beyond repair, and also leave stuff to repair clothes if you need to. That's a key thing for this game, is having restock points in each region and a main base. That's what you do with that. Anyway, on to the next tip. When it comes to weight management in this game, the best thing to do is, like I said, going back to base restock and having a main base machine, leave a big stock of supplies in each region. Now, the key to weight management in this game is to know what you need and what you're going to do. Say you're moving to a new region and you're going to set up base there for a bit. Alright? Say you're going, your main base right now at the moment is in Coastal Highway, and you have several restock points along the way. You have a restock point up at the abandoned fire tower. Your main base is at Quonset. You have a stock off point at the Misanthrope Homestead, and then you have a small restock base at the fishing camp, and then you have a little restock point up by the train tracks that connect to the ravine. Say you're leaving Coastal Highway and you decide to go to, and say you're wanting to go forge something, you go to Desolation Point, which has a forge. And you know what you're going to bring. Now you're going to loot the place too. You're going to make a little stock base there too, because you haven't done that yet. So you just bring what you need. You already have a hammer, you have a hacksaw. So you bring some. So you decide to bring some scrap metal. Alright? So you bring some scrap metal, you bring food for a couple days, and you bring a revolver. Alright? You can hunt with a revolver in this game. It's tricky, yes. But the best thing to do to hunt with revolvers is just hunt wolves and aim for the headshot. So, the more you know. Now, when it comes to weight management, and going back to what I was just saying, you got to plan your trips, alright? And when it comes to planning trips, like I was just saying with the example I just gave about Desolation Point and going there to forge, if you're going for a quick trip, just go forge some stuff, bring about 7 things of food and 0.26 gallon of water and a tin can. Actually, no. Bring... Okay. For that example, I would say bring 4 cans of, like, peaches or tomato soup if you can. Just to have, like, a easy supply of, like, recycled cans used for boiling water. Bring some meat, alright? Because you can also use the meat to distract a predator if it's trying to get you. For example, a wolf. And bring the stuff you want to forge with. Say you're going to make arrowheads. Well, there's no scrap at Desolation Point you can scrap up, so just bring a hacksaw and hammer. And leave the rifle, because here's the thing. The rifle in this game is like 9 pounds. It's number 4 Mark II Lee Enfield. And that thing's like 9.5 pounds fully loaded, almost 10 pounds. Though personally, I'm surprised they haven't sporterized it. But anyway, that's the key to weight management. Know what your trip is for, and know what you need to bring and what you don't need to bring. If you're going for a long trip and you're moving everything, try to keep your weight under 88 pounds. 99 if it's with the tactical backpack. Anyway, on to the next survival trick. Hunting. The key to hunting in this game is know what you're going to hunt. Alright, for example, say you want to go hunt rabbits. You have 3 weapon options to choose from. 1, rocks. You can chuck a rock, learn how to aim with the rock. The rocks, the stones are, okay, they're stones technically, but I won't call them a rock. Anyway, rocks are easy. You can find them anywhere. You can pick them up and you just equip them and you can throw them. And then you run up and you snap the bunny's neck. That's the first way to hunt a rabbit. Alright, and when it comes to hunting, the other 2 options involve the revolver, which I believe is a 38 Smith & Wesson police pistol or police revolver. I would have to look into it. I'm not sure about that model. It looks like a 45, but it's in a 38. The cartridges kind of look funky. I'd have to look into that. If anyone knows what the specific model of revolver is in Long Dark, please let me know in the comments. Be appreciated. And the final option is a bow and arrow. The bow and arrow is simple to use. The arrows break after 4 or 5 shots, up to, I think, 8 shots total if your archery skill level is up to max, I believe, or maybe even be higher. And the bow and arrow is best for hunting with rabbits, and also good for deer if you know how to hit the deer. Otherwise, you're going to have to track a blood trail. And going on to the next option to hunt is deer. Deer in this game are probably the stupidest animals I've ever seen. And as someone who hunts a lot of deer, personally, and I've shot a couple of nice bucks, deer are a lot smarter than they take in this game. But the key thing is, when it comes to hunting deer, just crouch up to them. Now, there are several tactics to deal with deer, right? One, you can just go find a deer carcass and cut it up and get the hide, guts, and meat and all that. Option 2 is either sneak up close with a revolver and B, hunts with handgun and shoot the deer in the head point blank if you can get close enough to do that. Next option is use the hunting rifle. The hunting rifle is a 303 Enfield, like previously stated. And the best way to shoot a deer is go for the neck. Real life, you're going to shoot in the fucking, behind the shoulder in the fucking lungs. And then you're going to track a blood trail. But in this game, it's a pain in the ass to track a blood trail. So the best thing to do is shoot in the neck, or if you get a good headshot and you have decent rifle skill, go for a headshot. You know, it's kind of unrealistic. And finally, most dangerous option is to chase the deer into the path of a wolf, and then let the wolf kill the deer for you, because no matter what, that wolf chases that deer, it's going to kill the deer. And then, when the wolf is turning around eating the deer, you walk up, get the wolf to face you, you shoot the wolf, you get a 2-for-1 combo, and you also can get a wolfskin coat out of it, too, if you do it right. Anyway, that's my hunting tips for deer. Now, going on to hunting wolves. Wolves in this game are predators, same with bears, and predators like bear and wolf in this game will follow a blood trail. And those who know, the little three squiggly lines at the top of your screen when you hit the touchpad, which I have here, as you can see, I have a 1 cent bar. That means wolves will be attracted to the meat and want to find out who has it and maul the shit out of them. Anyway, the key trick to hunting wolf is, 1, you can lure them with meat and then wait for them to charge you and crouch and shoot them in the head. That's the best option. 2, you can fucking manhandle that shit like Liam Neeson in The Gray and fucking go stabby stab with a wolf. Option 3, just fucking, well, there's no option 3 for hunting wolf. Those are the 2 main options. Now, going on to bear hunting. Bear hunting in this game, well, I'm gonna be honest, it's a fucking Canadian black bear, or British Columbian black bear. Where the fuck Great Bear Island is closest located? I believe it's in BC. Or maybe some island off Alberta based on fucking Vancouver Island. I don't know. Anyway, the bear in this game, there's several strategies, and the two common ones is one, find some place high, like a fallen tree you can climb up onto or walk onto, wait for that bear to get close, and shoot him in the head. Because if you shoot a bear in the fucking lungs in this game, it's just going to get pissed off, charge you, and then eat your face. And the first option I'm giving here is probably the safest. Like, if you get some place or some place you can dip into, like a car. Say you see a bear on a bridge or a road. You have a car next to you. You shoot that bear twice in the head, and then you dip in the car. Wait for him to go by you. Go a bit distance away, and then you shoot him in the butthole, and then he charges you again. You shoot him in the head, and you kill him. That's the second option. You can play like a matador tactic there. The third option is, well, you can play the Duck of Death. Or, well, according to English Bob, he was the Duke of Death, but I digress. And that's called the Duck of Death. Now, pretty much, if you shoot a bear and it sees you, it's going to charge at you, because, well, someone just fucking shot me, I would be pissed too, and I want to go beat their ass. So, when it comes to bear hunting, well, bear will charge you most of the time if you don't have a tactic to avoid the charge. And if you do that tactic, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get fucking mauled. So the best tactic is, if you're doing the tactic where I'm just stating where the bear just charges at you, and you just try to fucking unload as many rounds of 303 Britons that bear as you can, good luck. You're more than likely going to get mauled. But if you do it right, and it's a 50-50 chance that bear's going to drop. Now, the final tip I can give for bear hunting in this game, aim under the fucking eyeballs. For some reason, every time I aim a bear under the eyeball in this game, he drops like a sack of potatoes. I don't know what it is. I guess it's like stopping, it's completely cut off the bear's central nervous system, I believe, maybe. Don't quote me on it. Alright, I've only hunted about 6 bears in my life, so I sort of know a thing or two about hunting bear. I mean, I'm not experienced like them fucking fellers in Alaska and Canada and shit. But that's my guess on it. And that's probably the best tip I can give you, is just aim for the bear's eye and shoot right under it. Because most of the time I've ever done that, the bear just drops dead. But unfortunately on my stream last night, I got mauled to shit and my clothes got torn to hell. Anyway, going on to the next tip I can give you is supply maintenance. Or not supply maintenance, fuck, what was it? Oh. Ammo crafting. Now, in this game, there's a weapon or ammunition making, a reloading
I just need to close my eyes.
Mechanic. Pretty much you can reload and make hand loads in this game, pretty much. And you can do it for the revolver and the rifle, alright? Now, in-game, you have to get gunpowder, which you craft with charcoal. Alright, and the key to making gunpowder is you need a bag of dusting sulfur, a bag of mulch, and rifle shell casings or revolver shell casings, and a bullet. Best way to get bullets is to go around the island looking for car batteries and chopping them up with a hacksaw. That's my experience. Now, when it comes to leveling up your ammunition making skill, the best thing to do is just craft a fuck ton of bullets. All you need is car batteries, and you go up. Level 2 is 24 bullets, level 3 is like 48, and it's simple and easy to do. Alright, and there's 2 weapon manufacturing or reloading stations in the game. One is in Bleak Inlet, and one is in Black Rock. And both regions have a fuck ton of timberwolves. Forgot about timberwolves. I probably should have mentioned those along with the wolves. Timberwolves are something else to deal with. I'll get on to that in a second. Also, I forgot the fucking moose. Those are the next 2 things. Anyway, now when it comes to reloading, your ammunition will have varying levels of quality, ranging from dog shit, fucking hang fires, fucking blow up your face like Demolition Ranch type of shit. I'm glad he's alive, by the way. Poor fellow in that incident. Anyway. To perfect, like 100% quality, and it's like pretty much store grade ammunition. Now, when it comes to hand loads IRL, I hand load for 303, and I do 215 grain Woodley bullets, which are round nose, and I mainly make those for when I go hunting bear. I also do 150 grain hand loads, 174 grain, and 180 hand grain. Now, the lowest hand loads, or not hand grain, I don't know what I was saying hand grain, my apologies. Lowest hand loads I've done for 303 was about 100 grains, and it was actually very sweet to shoot. Very light recoil, perfect to shoot. And I used that on some grouse, and I used it on some rabbit. And I gotta say, Who says you can't hunt a rabbit with 303? Anyway. And that's the best tip I can give you, is level up your weapon manufacturing, or hand loading skill, or reloading skill in this game. Now, going on to the next survival tip, is how to deal with timber wolves. Timber wolves in this game are different than the normal wolves. They are gray and black with streaks in their hair, and they travel in packs, like most wolves do. So, there you go. So, yeah. Now, when it comes to timber wolves are pack animals, and they will have a attack meter at the bottom of the screen. And they are quite deadly and will fuck you up. So, there's that. Yeah. Now, when it comes to deal with timber wolves, the best tactic is... Okay, in this game you have two types of flares. Road flares and red flares, regular flares. Marine flares are stuff used by sailors and stuff, and they are known to deter timber wolves quite effectively. So the best thing to do is light a marine flare. They don't last that long, unfortunately, but they're also a very good light source. So if you get a fuck ton of marine flares, and you're going to timber wolf territory, which is Black Rock and Lake Inlet, always leave stashes of marine flares in those regions at your restock bases and main base there in those two regions. All right. Now, when it comes to dealing with those timber wolves, best tactic is, which I do, is I'll light a marine flare, drop it on the ground, and then pull out a revolver. And when the wolves charge, I'll shoot one, try to hit it, and it's cat and mouse pretty much when it comes to dealing with timber wolves. And if you can, because here's the thing, the timber wolves do not like the marine flares. They don't like the flares in general. So you can use either flare really, but the marine flares are more effective. But anyway, best tactic I can recommend is to drop a marine flare on the ground or a regular flare, drop it on the ground, pull out a revolver, and if you get a decent shot on a timber wolf, crouch, aim for the head, and let them run at you. Alright? But most of the time with timber wolves, they'll try to zigzag at you and try to nip and bite at you, and they won't directly outright attack you like a normal wolf. So you gotta play, like I said, cat and mouse and fighting the bull kind of shit with a timber wolf. Now, the second best strategy to deal with timber wolves is, well, run like a bitch. Even though in real life that would make their chase reaction go full kill, so I would not recommend doing that with actual wolves. So, if you're a common sense individual, you should know that. Anyway, on to the next tip when it comes to dealing with timber wolves, is get up somewhere they can't reach you. Though I've had the game glitch out a few times and the wolves somehow get me when I'm up on something, but this also goes back to dealing with bear hunt in this game. Get up somewhere like a fallen tree that you can walk across, or a fallen limb, or a tree, or fucking a limb, or whatever, or like even a rock face. Get up on that and shoot down at them, try to shoot at them, hit them, or scare them off, right? Because there's like a morale meter for the timber wolves, I think I mentioned, and if you get that to bleed completely, there's varying levels of it. On like Interloper, they're just fucking cracked out on steroids, alright? Fucking fentanyl type of shit. Alright, but anyway, that's the best few ways you can deal with timber wolves. Now, going to how to deal with moose. Moose in this game do not bleed out, which is, personally, I find really stupid, because it's a moose, and moose can bleed out. They're not impenetrable like the devs think they are. But the best way to deal with a moose is, well, okay, when it comes to deal with moose, moose can break your fucking ribs in a stomp charge attack, and that will leave you beat to hell for 7 days with broken ribs. So you gotta heal that up, which is a bitch. And the best way to deal with a moose is shoot in the side. And here's the thing with moose is they'll come back to the area you shot them from. So if that moose is charging you, shoot it a couple times in the head. If it's running straight at you, aim for the head, aim for the chest area, alright? And shoot as many rounds of whatever weapon you have at it. And best weapons are the revolver and rifle, hunting rifle, right? Those are the best weapons to deal with moose. Same with most other animals. Also, on a side note, I should mention for bear, if you shoot a bear in this game with a flare gun and you hit it, it will die instantly, no matter what. Mainly because you probably turned into bear barbecue. Anyway, going back to the moose, that's the best way to deal with moose. And because moose will run away after getting shot a couple times and come back to the area, best thing you do is just follow them, wait for them to stop, shoot them again, and just shoot them a couple more times till they drop. Moose drop about 100 pounds of meat, and they drop about 12 guts, and I think the moose size is 15 pounds, 10 kilograms, or whatever the fuck it is, kilos. Anyway, and the benefits of getting a moose hide is you can make a satchel or a moose hide cloak, which gives you 100%, pretty much, 100% waterproofness in this game, and is a great deterrent to other wildlife. Alright, now, next tip I'm going to give you to new players I can give is know when to avoid ice. Alright, and there's several regions in this game that have weak ice, alright? Now, there's the beachcombing mechanic in this game, which is for places like Desolation Point, which I'm currently in. Alright. Alright, and there's also Coastal Highway, you can do beachcombing. You can do beachcombing in Bleak Inlet. And you can also do beachcombing in, actually, I think that's it, actually. Those three regions. And now, when it comes to weak ice in this game, try to avoid, the water where the ice touches the water in, Desolation Point, Coastal Highway, and Bleak Inlet. Now, in Forlorn Muskeg, there is weak ice along with Keeper's Pass, which connects to Black Rock, which is a transition zone. Right, and I forgot to mention the transition zones in between each maps in this game, regions, so know that. Now, when it comes to dealing with weak ice, the best way you'll know is there'll be an indicator on your screen, either top or bottom, and it'll flash weak ice and show a picture of broken ice, and it'll be red, and you have about 3 to 4 seconds to get off of it before you fall in and get hypothermia. Now, if you're wearing crampons, you get about 7 to 8 seconds, which, to get the crampons, you have to go to Ash Canyon and go to the gold mine there, which is a fucking trek and a half to go to. And with the new expansion pass, they're going to add the option to make craftable crampons, which is great, along with several other new things, which I'm looking forward to. Anyway. Yeah, that's the other tip I can give, is that's how you deal with weak ice. Try to avoid it if you can, but if you're doing beach climb, make sure you're not over-encumbered in any way, shape, or form, and you're actually about 10 pounds under the weight limit for your character. Next tip I'm going to give is the Aurora. Alright, now, in the game, the Aurora has pretty much affected the power, and the power has been cut off completely unless there's an Aurora Night. And on Aurora Nights, the best thing you can do is go around, and you can find computers in the game, or old laptops, or phones, and whatnot, and you can read, the messages on and stuff you can get them in your journal and stuff here. For example, they're called buffer memories, and there's several of them. There's 71 of them in total in survival mode. You can find all of them, and they're varying levels and multiple levels to them. So, well, you know. Now, when it comes to dealing with the Aurora, there are 3 things you should know. 1, animals are a lot more fucking deadly in Aurora. So if you find an Aurora bear, which is meaning you're pretty much fucked. By the way, if you come across a bear during Aurora and that thing is lit and pissed and sees you, you're just dead. You're going to die instantly most of the time. Because it can take a lot more damage than it usually does when it's not Aurorified. Same thing with the wolves. Wolves will attack you in fucking waves during Aurora. Other thing is, if you're exploring a building like the dam in Mystery Lake, Carter Dam, which also used to be home to a creature by the name of Fluffy. That's another story for another day. There's also electrical wires you can see spark up with electricity sparking out of the end of them. Avoid those because they will deteriorate your health and give you a burn, and if you step on too many of them, you will die. So, well, you know. For those who are wondering where electrical wires are, there are some in the maintenance repair shop at Broken Railroad. There's a few in Bleak Inlet at the cannery there. There are a few in the cave in Black Rock. You go get the noisemakers, which are pretty much improvised grenades. There's several in the Carter Hydro Dam, and there's also a few, I believe, in some of the transition mines in this game. I'd have to map them out. I know there's also... That's about it. So, that's the thing with Auroras. That's the tip I can give for Auroras. The other thing is, you can actually listen to the radio and stuff during the Aurora, so that's a little info you can know. Now, going on to the final tip or trick for beginners in this game is, well, what could that final tip be? Oh, collect herbs and saplings and other natural grown materials in this game. All right, there are several natural plant life in this game that you can collect. Birch bark, which you make into birch bark tea, which give you a condition boost. Reishi mushrooms, which are pretty much antibiotic in effect, and they're a good option replacement for antibiotics if you don't find any antibiotics. For reishi mushrooms for tea, I think you need 3 mushrooms to make it into an antibiotic tea, or 2. So, well, you know. Cattails are a good source of food if you're out of food. You just find them along the coastlines in places like Mystery Lake, or Fullhorn Muskeg, or Bleak Inlet, or Hush River Valley, or Pleasant Valley, or most of the regions, which also doubles tinder with the fluffy piece. So, there's that. Rose hips, you need 24 in total to make rose hip tea, which are a painkiller derivative compared to the painkillers in the game, which are a natural herb. And you can tell the rose hips by the... These are rose hips, or these are reishi mushrooms to be prepared. And 8 of them you can craft for reishi craft, and you dice them up. This is prepared birch bark, and these are what rose hips looks like. They're little red petals on bushes. You'll see them around. Alright, and I'm going to give an example of the rose hips real quick. Actually, I need to unload gear, because I'm over here coming like a motherfucker. Anyway, and there's also Old Man's Beard Legion, which double as a antibiotic, or an antiseptic device. So, the more you know. Now, when it comes to what other... For example, those who are wondering what rose hips look like naturally without being plucked, you can see there are a few right here by the lighthouse in Desolation Point. These are rose hips. They're like little berry type of things, as you can see. Fruit of a wild rose bush can be used to make a tea that helps manage pain. And there you go. Now, and the reason I'm saying to collect the natural plants in this game, like Old Man's Lichen and rose hips and like saplings. Now, there's 2 types of saplings in this game, I will mention. There's birch sapling and maple sapling. One makes birch saplings are used for I believe the arrows, and maple saplings are used to make the bow. Or I might have them mixed up. Hang on. Yeah, you need 1 cured maple sapling to make a bow, and to make an arrow shaft, you need birch sapling, which is 1. You get 3 shafts of sapling. Now, and for those who are wondering why I'm saying you need to collect these, is because sometimes you'll be in a region like, say, Hush River Valley or Black Rock, and there's not going to be a lot of supplies there, alright? Like natural man-made supplies. And you're going to have to live off the land and scavenge for shit. And if you know what these items look like, you'll be good, and you'll actually have an alternative supply of medical needs and stuff to craft with. So, don't know that. Now, the final tip, and this is going to be pretty much the end of the video here, for beginners and whatnot, is knowing how to properly fish. Now, in the game, there are several places to fish. Mystery Lake has a lot of fishing huts. There's about several in Mystery Lake. There's a fishing hut in Pleasant Valley at the Unnamed Pond, or whatever it's called, which is by Thompson's Crossing, like by Heartbreak Bridge. There's about 12 fishing huts in Coastal Highway. There's a fishing hut in Ash Canyon. There's a fishing hut in Wolf Mountain. There's 3 fishing huts in Bleak Inlet. You know, to be honest, I feel like fuck, what was the reason? Yeah, Mountain Town could have used a fishing hut. Yeah, Mountain Town could have used a fishing hut, and Bleak Inlet could have used a fish, or not Bleak Inlet, but Broken Railer could have used a fishing hut. And you know, when it comes to fishing in this game, there are several fish. There's coho salmon, coho fish, coho salmon. There's grayling, Arctic grayling. There's smallmouth bass. I think there's one more fish. I forget what it is. And when it comes to fishing, to make fishing lure or fishing line, you need guts, which you can make up to about 6 lines, maybe 4 or 5 lines of fishing line, and a fishing hook, which you can make out of scrap metal, which I think you need a workbench and maybe some simple tools to do. And when it comes to fishing, the great thing about fishing is it's a good source of protein, and it's also a good way to get lantern fuel. In this game, there are a lot of options for light and stuff, and the main way is lanterns. You can also do torches, but they go out at a certain amount of time and are pretty much finite. With a lantern, it's heavy, about 4 pounds total, or 3.5 pounds total, but is a good item and gives off a great array of light and lets you see a lot of area. So that's that when it comes to fishing. Anyway, I would like to thank y'all for watching this video on survival tips and tricks for beginners in the long dark. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. Good luck out there, and peace. I'll be